Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In this week's episode, we're going to discover how to win an art competition. That's right, how you win an art competition. I have never won an art competition, but I'm kind of interested to see how others have. Many aspiring artists dream of being recognized for their talent, achieving success in their artistic endeavors. Well, this is going to be an interesting article, so let's get right down to it. My name is Jeff Mohr on the Northwoods Carver, and thanks for seeing what I saw. Okay, everyone take a seat. Take a seat, sharpen your pencils. Everyone sharpen their pencils. Everyone's good. Get your Kleenex. All right, did you use the bathroom? Good enough? Everyone got a drink? All right. This is an article written by Adam Hawk. I don't know if that's the dude's name, but it's like an art competition. And I want to know for myself what it takes to win an art competition. I don't think I've ever won one, but let's figure this out together. This is me learning right alongside of you. I mean, I judge art competitions, so I have an idea, but for the most part, it's criteria involved. So, you got to nail the criteria and a bunch of other things. And I think this person is going to discuss all those other things. So here it is. The title is Art Competitions, Why They Matter, and How to Win. All right. Every July, Adam Hawk runs a competition giving fresh talent the chance to show what they've got. Ours isn't the only competition out there. Our longtime competition sponsors, 3D Total, also hosts regular art challenges throughout the year with killer prizes to boot. I think prizes are awesome, as long as it's money. Perfect. All right. Aside from the possible glory of winning, there are solid advantages to entering art competitions. I'm one of those guys that's actually against competition. I don't like competitions. I don't compete in competitions. I love the people at the competitions, and I love to watch people carve. But at the same time, having to pick a winner is really tough. And in all honesty, I just did a video on it, so just watch that video. I think it's called, what did I name that one? Judging Art. That's what it was. All right, getting back to this one. Practice focusing on a brief and systematically answering it. Practice following a logical workflow and trusting your artistic judgment. Practice working to a deadline, training you to focus your efforts and make artistic decisions in a proactive way. It also will introduce you to industry peers and recruiters. So that's one of the coolest things right there is the peers. And the recruiters, whatever. But I mean, think about it. All the people that you meet. And it's really cool because you get to meet people that are in sync with what you do. And you all have stories. And you can you share your stories of your humor and sadness. And you can get together and just laugh at customers. That's what we do, is we say, do you ever have somebody do this to you? And yeah, and you just kick it around the campfire, so to speak. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. The peers are what it's all about for me. Just entering competitions is a good idea. So, this little bit here is interesting. Know the brief, know your idea, and know what works. So, know the brief, know the idea, and know what works. And that takes saddle time. All right. An art competition gives you boundaries around your art. This demands a different type of research and planning from creating your own free-flowing artwork. Entering lots of competitions ingrains the discipline. Understand the shape, the nucleus of your core idea in response to the brief. Get that right, and you'll be able to take it further. So the brief, I'm thinking, is your whatever the criteria is, or whatever your breakdown is of this, a thumbnail sketch, I'm assuming, something to that effect. Or maybe this competition sends people an idea of what they want to see, and then it's up to you to embellish whatever that is. So the brief. To me, it would be like the thumbnail. You know, when you create a thumbnail sketch for something, you just basically just writing down or sketching a very brief little blip so that you can at least have something to go on. All right, moving on. Sometimes it's clear that an idea has great potential within working developments, but it loses its edge in the final execution. You're looking for refinement through iteration of a strong, well-considered concept, not necessarily more. So you're not necessarily looking for something over the top. You just want something that's going to have a strong iteration and well-considered concept. So you don't need to go over the top. Something simple can usually, if it's done well, is going to score high, right? One good tip is to read a previous competition brief and look at how different artists responded to it from every conceivable direction. Sift through them and consider why the winners and runners-up and honorable mentions won their places. Take the time to observe and understand the strengths of each competition and each composition. Okay, so that's basically, I'm going to use chainsaw carving as the template for this discussion. So to be competitive, you need to be aware of all these different things if you want to win, right? You can't just have talent and you can't just have saddle time and all that. You got to know what the competition's all about. You have to know what has won, what has placed. You have to pay attention to all this stuff and who's the judges. And you just if you want to win, you got to almost pander to that. You can't just come into a competition, carve whatever you want, and then expect to win, because you have to be able to understand all those things from my perspective. If you truly, that's all you want to do is win, right? So if you have the talent and you boom, you're on target. So let's keep trucking here. Okay, next thing up is make the judges notice you. Start with the obvious rule. Answer the brief, whatever that is. Reviewers are actively paring down entrants, so if your work is off brief, it's unlikely to go further. So if it doesn't fit the criteria, forget it. Everyone brings their own flair and creative ideas. Entries that show good judgment across the board stand out. That means artists with solid understanding of their work and its strengths, underpinned by good technical basics, stand out. Standout entries may have a dynamic composition, compelling emotional narrative, communication, or impressive color wielding. An excellent image demonstrates a conscious choice to apply just the right amount of effort in the core ideas to help round off the whole piece. As I looked at a lot of those pieces this year, it was so difficult because everyone, pretty much virtually everyone there, had a good understanding of composition and all that, but some people just nailed certain aspects of the thing that they were trying to do, and it, like I said in my last video judging art, it's some carvers are better at leaving breadcrumbs for us to find than others, and so it's good to know that the compositions were strong, and all the ones that placed were very, very strong, and their execution was great. So yeah, in a competition like ours, demonstrating process is as important as the final image. Good practical and aesthetic judgment gives an insight into your decision-making and innate creativity. This will attract attention as much as an eye-catching final piece and goes a long way to making the viewer more connected with the final image as they buy into the journey. Very interesting. As a side note, this applies to portfolios too, as well as to the competition entries. Good, well laid out presentation makes viewers more receptive. Don't overfill pages. Just select the best work, clearly labeled with the most important images called out as focal points. So basically, this is going to be your, what I would call I coined it the the book of home runs, right? You just put all your home runs in a book, pictures or whatever, or on your website or wherever it's going to be. And that is your portfolio. It's nice to have a portfolio. I mean, different artists have different types of portfolios. My portfolio is on my website. It's on my Facebook page. You won't find things on there just, hey, look what I carved today. You're not going to see that in my portfolio. You're going to just see home runs, or at least what I considered a home run at the time. And this is called Give Us the Feels. Creating an image that triggers emotions is a winning move. Look for novel ways to instill emotions like nostalgia, awe, humor, sadness, and delight. For many reviewers, technical prowess is not the primary virtue. Instead, they're looking for the key emotional and narrative takeaway. Concept art is visual language that conveys ideas and emotion. The range of expression, markings, texture, and details is not fixed or set, so use it to your advantage. Make the viewer discover and interpret your work. Be clear and specific where you want to, and more ambiguous elsewhere. Know the discipline of a deadline. This is critical. This is time management, people. Time management in a competition. I've seen many really good carvers struggle with the time management just because there might be a flaw in the wood that takes them a little more time than they thought, or they might have to recarve stuff and or add things, and so sometimes I think time management is the most important thing. Knowing your abilities, knowing your shortcomings, knowing all the stuff going into a competition is critical, so that you don't catch yourself falling behind and not finishing the piece. So, like a real world brief, a competition has a hard deadline. Working creatively to deadline takes practice. The more competitions you enter, the better you'll understand what works best for you when it comes to delivering on time every time. Focusing on the right ideas for your work and making effective artistic decisions, working to deadline, will help you control your creative output in new ways. Yeah, it's definitely gonna reel you in. It's definitely you're not gonna be like, well, what if I did this, or what if you're just cutting the fat off of whatever that idea is, and you're just laser focusing onto what you think needs to be. There's no indecision. There's no kicking the can around. You can't stop and start, looking up different ideas in the middle of a competition. You'll just be burning up time. So you just got to shift on the fly and run like hell. Pacing your work will leave you time to avoid rushing and submitting anything substandard. This method will look different to everyone, so you must experiment to find what unique approach works for you. As the art competition deadline approaches, ask yourself a few questions and answer them. Okay, so here's a few questions that you would want to ask yourself, right? I'm just going to throw these in there. If there was one takeaway, what would you want it to be, right? From the onlooker's perspective, is the focus obvious? Is there any fussy detail detracting from your visual message? That's another good one. Is your vision or message faithful to the piece or to the brief, to the idea? Are you covering the bases of good composition and execution? And do you know what your composition or execution spike or device is? Is there magic, innovation, or simple excellence in your work? Push forward and be seen. Entering competition gives you a valuable exposure, putting your work in front of professionals, some of whom will be looking for talent to recruit. Also, competition success looks great on your CV and dramatically increases the chances of landing professional work. Creative growth is an ongoing journey. Taking part in multiple competitions helps you explore the possible routes, execution, styles, left field ideas, narrative, emotional messaging, and more. The experience should widen your outlook, exposing you to diverse range of influence and possibilities, which in turn will improve the quality of your work. So this is obviously not about chainsaw carving. There's very few articles that are about chainsaw carving. So I'm just trying to translate over some of these, cool articles I've read and that I've found out about, and thought, you know what, I'm just going to bring it to everyone's attention out there and throw my spin on it and see if we can translate one art form into, and make people understand what other people are going through, like not just in chainsaw carving, because everyone just thinks in chainsaw carving you're just going to go there, you might practice a piece a few times and then get to the log and be like, this is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot different than art competitions, especially AI art competitions and things like that, where the sky's the limit. With us, it's a different story. Well, everyone, I think that's going to be about it. I just want to say thanks for sticking around this long. Don't forget to like and subscribe, smash that notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.
Now get out there and compete. Win, 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 win! Calm down. Sheesh.